Hit that button right there. When it's green, you're...
Good evening. Hi, everyone. It's 7 p.m., so I will call this regular meeting of the Board of Education to order. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Pearson?
Present.
Mr. Allens?
Here.
Ms. McCall?
Present.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Here.
Mr. Siegel?
Here.
Ms. Haley?
Here.
Ms. Stanford?
Here.
With 7 present, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now take a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At the beginning of each board meeting, we like to remind everyone that the mission of the Rockford Public Schools is to collaboratively engage all students in a first-class education for a changing world. And before we go any further, I'd like to say thank you to Kathy Baer. She works behind the scenes to produce the board's broadcast via YouTube live stream and Comcast Channel 20. I'd also like to welcome Superintendent Student Advisory Council Representative Aisha Nizamuddin, right? Okay, thank you. From Auburn High School, and we'll hear from you later. We'll look forward to that. We're going to start the meeting by recognizing and celebrating outstanding contributions of our students and staff, and I'll give the floor to Mr. Dotson.
Thank you and good evening. We have some incredible competitors, outstanding students, and state champions in the house tonight from our high schools. Let's give them a round of applause right out the gate. All right. First up, we have IHSA Wrestling. East High School junior Lee Smith Jr. competed in the IHSA State Wrestling Tournament in February. He's now a 2-time state qualifier and finished the season with a 41-6 record. Congratulations, Lee. Is Lee in the house? Let's give it up for him anyway. Woo! All right, Lee. Next up, we have IHSA Chess. Both Auburn High School and Guilford High School sent teams to compete in the IHSA State Chess Tournament in February. Representing Auburn, Ethan Vanderkolk, Ian Wan, Sayana Bilgun, Michelle Liu, Sophia Ramorin, Caleb Sales, Gian Sasan, Andrew Meyer, and Bassem Bassem. Let's give them a round of applause, and y'all come on up.
Hello, everyone. I'm the coach for the team, and there's a few things that I wanted to say. That will let you know about our team. I want to make sure they get this. Okay, I want to go back to 2022. We had a record of 3-2 and 12-12 season, and we happened to have gone to the championship game in sectionals, and we were 3-1, and then we finished 3-4 in state. And the reason I'm bringing up last year's results is because sometimes when you hear what place we took, you really don't know how well we did. And we actually beat every team that was below us, and we lost every team that was above us. Unfortunately, our very first round was against the state champions. So in essence, if you throw out the state champions, last year we were 3-3. Then I want to mention this year. This year in conference, we were 4-1. We went 3-1 at the conference tournament. We went 3-1 at the Huntley Invite. By the way, we did take third place at the conference tournament. We ended up 17-8. So last year we were 12-12. This year we were 17-8. Now, unfortunately, we went 3-4 again at state. But again, we ended up demolishing 3 teams. We got demolished by 3 teams, and then we had a game that was so close it came down to the last game, and we ended up losing. So we finished 3-4. But I want you to know that 3/4 of my team last year were freshmen. This year, 3/4 of my team are sophomores. We are moving up the ladder quickly, and we are going to have a great team the next 2 years. So I want to get them the recognition they deserve, because they went from a team that was just, a bunch of kids who were just playing to actually challenging the state, the conference title and sectional title. We went to the sectional championship game last year. Now, we did get beat by one of the top 5 teams in the state, but hey, having said that, we did really good. So anyway, I wanted them to get their kudos because they didn't get what they deserved last year, and I want to get it for them this year.
See you next year.
All right. Next up, I forgot, representing Guilford from the IHSA, Nathan Sherwin, Wade Little, Kyle Inthavong, Christian Owens, Lincoln Noble, Malachi Yates, Jaden Fote, Fern Kuntz, Joel Hernandez, and Brooklyn Harrell. Please come up and be recognized. Come on up. All right, next up, IHSA bowling. Guilford High School sent 2 bowlers to compete in the IHSA state bowling tournaments this season. Guilford freshman Sarah Legou competed in the IHSA girls tournament in February. Guilford senior Devin Skridla competed in the IHSA boys tournament in January. Congratulations to each of you on a great season. Come on up. right. Career and Technical Education Month, student recognitions. 2 students from Jefferson High School were recognized during National CTE Month, Career and Technical Education, in February. They were nominated by their teachers, and we'd like to share their nominations now. Jefferson student Noah Zachariah Irshade was nominated by Mr. Patrick Cleaver for his work ethic. Noah managed all students on the build of a large table that will be used to build walls on for the Habitat for Humanity. It will benefit all future Jefferson students who participate in the construction pathway. Mr. Cleaver wrote, Noah has the desire to see a project completed from beginning to end. He loves to work with his hands and his mind to figure out how to complete a task. He will definitely be an asset to any business. Congratulations, Noah. Next up, Jefferson student Anthony Leroy Rueles was nominated by Miss Emily Wilhelms for Anthony's team project, working as a business that is developing a backpack designed to equip students with all necessary school and sports items into one bag. All right. Miss Wilhelms wrote that Anthony demonstrates a profound understanding of all concepts and is a huge asset to his team and the class. Congratulations, Anthony. They in the house? Come on up. Let's go. All right, IHSA basketball. The Auburn High School boys basketball team should be celebrated this season for being named both regional and sectional champions. Yeah. The Knights made it to the Super Sectional Tournament after defeating St. Charles East in the sectional finals. The Knights fell just 1 game short of the state semifinals when they were defeated in the Class A 4A NIU Super Sectional against number 1 ranked Lyle Bennett. Congratulations on a great season, Auburn Knights. Good job, guys. All right, brothers. Y'all can hurry up. All right. All right, Coach. Coach. All right. All right, IHSA swimming. Congratulations to Rockford East High School senior and state champion, Camden Taylor. Woo. Camden Taylor, who won the 100-yard freestyle by a second and a half in February at the IHSA State Finals. His time of 43.72 seconds at the FMC Natorium in Westmont made him the Nick 10's first state champ in 20 years. Camden also broke the state record with his time previously set by an Olympic gold medalist. Camden also finished second in the state in the 200-yard freestyle. He now holds every individual swimming record in the Nick 10, making him the greatest swimmer in Nick 10 conference history. Shout out, man. You should, yeah, do the truth. Camden, we are excited to cheer you on at the next level, my man. Congratulations.
Does that mean we might have just shook hands with a future Olympian there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, IHSA Scholastic Bowl. For the past 20 years, Auburn High School has consistently finished in the Final Four at the IHSA State Scholastic Bowl tournament. The Knights brought home the big trophy as champions in 2008 for the first time and again in 2015. This year in Class 2A, the Auburn Knights defeated Dunlap, Illinois Math and Science Academy and Hinsdale Central before defeating Barrington 430 to 390 in the championship to again win the state title. The IHSA roster includes Senacio Morales, who's the captain, Alex Correll, Kobe Thamavong, Juan Lin, Luke Snyder, and Darden Jakupai. Head coach is Nevagay Abel. Did I get that right? Abel, thank you. And assistant coach is Linda Green. Congratulations on making history once again. Auburn Knights, and good luck in your national tournaments in the coming months. Come on up. Congratulations again to each of these students, all of you, on their incredible achievements. Thank you to their teachers, coaches, families, and friends for supporting them and encouraging them this year. Thank you all, and congratulations. That concludes our report. Thank you.
All right. It's my understanding that we also had several or a couple of girls at Guilford sign with colleges today, basketball players, so excited for them. We are now at the communications and petitions portion of our meeting. We invite the public to make comments. The board will not respond to the comments at this time. If it's appropriate, it will be contacted in a timely manner by staff. Each speaker will be allowed no more than 2 minutes to address the board. It's not appropriate to address individual board members or individual administrators or discuss matters that would otherwise be confidential in such open meetings. If you look to your left, you'll see 2 digital clock. One showed the total time allowed to public comment, the other to each speaker. We thank you for your interest and for your cooperation with our guidelines. We have 2 speakers. Ricky Naylor is first, and then Terry Gano is second.
Coming in, for these students coming in to get awards. Well, we should have students come down here and also make victim impact statements on education that this district has been giving these kids. Now, I'm sure later on tonight, I'll go home, watch the YouTube. It'll be a couple of you board members making comments about what I'm saying right now, and that's okay, because you're trying to defend yourselves. You're trying to defend your record here. You're not going to get no big accolade when you leave out of here because you've been a failure. Your number one goal should have been coming down here as board members, getting rid of this white supremacy culture, which you refuse to even tackle. Now you let these guys say, "Oh, recruit teachers of color," but you won't let them say the racism or white supremacy. Those words, you don't like use those words around because you guys get defensive, and then when you get defensive, you want to strike back because you don't listen. When you start listening to what I'm saying, then you say, okay, yeah, we can see how this culture is a white supremacy culture, because the white staff here, the administrators and board members, you make all decisions. So that's why it's a white supremacy culture. The only ideals that get addressed are the ideals you guys address. Now, like you said, you guys are saying, the equity department is doing all this stuff. If they're not attacking racism head on, then they're not doing anything. They tap dancing around racism. Now, if you're a real equity leader, then you're not afraid to just take it head on. Say, look, we got a problem here. We need more black staff here in leadership positions, not on this entertainment stuff. So when you get down to it, so hopefully at next board, when you get the next board here together, they'll sit down and say, you know what, the number one goal going forward is to dismantle this white supremacy culture. And then those kids will start doing better.
Thank you. Terry Gano?
And this was written before I knew that the state champions were going to be here. I didn't know that. So where credit is due, credit should be given. So a big shout out to the Auburn High School Scholastic Bowl team for winning. That victory, however, is tainted with a bit of irony. While the district was capable to produce a team of such caliber, unfortunately most students in the district are lagging behind in the skills needed to perform at such a high level. Data released by the ISBE shows that approximately 86% of all Hispanic and 90% of all black third-grade students in RPS schools are not meeting or exceeding grade level expectations when it comes to reading. These figures have dire consequences for the future lives of those students in those groups. Reading at third grade level is one of the most pivotal moments in the educational life of our students. Students who cannot read at grade level face an educational experience that is rife with academic, emotional, and social issues. Low achievement in reading is also the common denominator in school discipline, attendance, dropout problems, and juvenile crime. Reading proficiently by the end of third grade is the most critical indicator of whether a child will graduate from high school. Children who do not read proficiently by the end of third grade are 4 times more likely to leave school with no diploma. Not reading at grade level does not only impact ELA performance, but also impacts the development of their numeracy skills. Students might be able to solve a math problem, but get frustrated when they can't read and understand a written math problem. Looking past the K-12 education into adulthood, reading still plays an important factor. Inmates in prisons typically have a lower reading performance than their peers who are not incarcerated. One recent study shows that the majority of prison inmates under the age of 24 read only at an early 5th grade reading level. Is this the future we really want for our RPS students?
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the presentation of the 2024 budget requests. Looks like communications is first, maybe?
Good evening once again. Hello, hello. All right. So here is the preliminary FY24 budget for the communications department. CBE. Boom. There it is. All right, so this is all of the direct reports that I have the honor of overseeing these departments. First up is the communications department led by Kathy Bear-Eberly, and this is her team. You can see the core functions of the communications department. And one of the highlights I'd just like to point out here is the 2 commercial spots that we showed the board a while back about the Rockford Promise scholarships that we put on several commercial spots. And then just kind of the ongoing support for a variety of our district departments. You can see their budget summary. You can see the wage and salary increases. And then the increase in purchased services is a marketing campaign that we will run next year that will focus on special programs, our scholarships, and our recruitment and retention efforts. As far as our detail of contracts, the one new thing there is the web app, and that was recognized in the ITIS budget. Thank you, Jason. But now it is recognized in our budget, so that is now a budget item for us. And then the return on investment. Next, the Family Community Engagement Department. That team is led by Maureen Kirschman. You can see her team. You can see their core functions. And the highlights here, of course, you all have been a part of the ARP ESSER Community Call to Action agreements with the board support, and Maureen and her team have done a great job in seeing those through. And you can see return on the investment. And the one there I really like is that they also have done a great job with our building parent liaisons, providing professional development and support there. The Welcome Center and Families in Transition, which is led by Christina Raber. You can see her team. You can see the core functions of that team. And then the highlights, again, they did a great job last year transitioning, making those inactive student records, digitizing all of those. And then, of course, we are marching onward, Tim Rollins, for online enrollment. It's happening. And Ms. McCulloch, I know you guys have been telling me about that for a while. And then the FIT team, the Families in Transition, is embedded in the Welcome Center. And you can see the core functions of the Families in Transition team. And then the highlight there was through the American Rescue Plan dollars, the ARP ESSER dollars, we were able to add 4 FIT social service coordinators to work with FIT families. And they did a great job. They're doing a great job with that caseload. And then the budget summary, there are the wage and the benefit increases, and then the one increase on the purchase services. The professional development was coming out of my budget, but now it's being recognized in the Welcome Center budget. And then you can see the details of their contracts. No changes there. And then you can see the return on investment. Next up, process improvement. That team is led by Sarah Kerpius, and you can see the members of her team. You can see their core functions. And then their highlights. Again, collaborating with the Welcome Center. They, again, did an awesome job of launching the Scribble software, which we use to digitize our records. And then, of course, online registration, which is going live this summer. It's happening. And then the budget summary, the salary and wage and benefits increases. And then under purchase services, that increase is based on, we work with legal, we collaborate with legal. So we keep 5 years worth of inactive records, and then the 6th year, they need to be digitized. So that's captured in that cost. And also transcripts. So whenever a student needs to send off a transcript or a college requests a transcript, that is another service that Scribbles provide, and that's also in that number. And then you can see the contracts. And again, what's new there is what I just mentioned there, the $24,000 for those 2 services. And you can see the return on investment for the process improvement team. Next up, fine arts. It's a strong and mighty 2-person team, Bonnie and Simon. You can see their core functions for the fine arts department. And then their highlights, Bonnie did a great job of expanding the all-city events for recruitment and additional student opportunities, so lots of great collaboration was happening there. And then the budget summary. You can see the increase is under capital. That is for cabinets for our instruments. We want to make sure that we protect those investments. And then the other miscellaneous is just cleaning supplies when we have to clean all of the instruments. And then their Hall of Fame. So last year we had the Hall of Fame banquet. We're not charged for the venue. This year we are. And then the venue rental is just a slight increase, just on the kind of cost of living adjustment. There's just an increase in cost to do business there. And you can see the return on investment for our fine arts department. Next up, athletics. Dawn and Abby. You can see the core functions for our athletics department. And then the highlights, the one here that I like the most is the Rockford Elementary Soccer League and the Rockford Elementary Basketball Association experience record numbers. We just had an explosion of participation, which was fantastic to see. And then, of course, last year we had our first summer camp, which went very well, but I'm excited about what's going to happen this year as Dawn and Abby run that show. And then here in the athletics budget summary, there are the wage and benefit increases. Purchase services, that increase is as a result of, it was not recognized last year in the budget, but that is all of the facilities that we rent out to have for the Riesel and Reba games. And because we had such a huge participation, we wanted to make sure that we had enough in the budget. So when we host those games, we have the proper facilities. Supplies increase, that is a cost shift. So the uniform budgets used to be on the schools, the athletic department's budgets, but great work and great collaboration with Greg and his team, that's now on our budget so that we can provide some structure and equity and kind of help our kind of purchasing power when we buy uniforms and collaborate with the schools to see what that needs to be. The non-capital increase is the automatic external defibrillators, also known as AEDs. So all middle school football games need to have those on site. And then the details of contracts, there's a slight increase in the life support ambulance service. That is due to freshman football games need to have life support ambulance on site. See the return on investment for athletics. And last but not least, security services. You can see the core functions of security services. You can see some of the highlights. Fred and again, collaborating with ITIS, have done a great job on installing cameras and maintaining those all throughout the district. collaborating with Mike Phillips and his team. We're almost done with the security vestibule installations. But the main thing, I think the big highlight there is the True North's physical security audit. Lots of work and collaboration went into that, but we'll be giving a report to the board soon on kind of our findings there. And you can see the wage and benefit increases. And the one alteration, this increase is in the contract, and that is just due to because we have added so many things around cameras and keyless access. Once you have more stuff, it just costs more to maintain all those things. So buying extra equipment is the increase for the increase in that contract. And you can see the return on investment. And that is the end. Thank you. Be happy to answer any questions.
I'll ask a question. So we have a Hall of Fame for both athletics and for fine arts, and I didn't see a budget for that in the athletics piece. What am I missing? Because you have almost, $45,000 for it, and I thought that was a fundraiser, isn't it?
It's not anymore. Not anymore, but that is recognized in the, let's see here, let's go back to athletics.
So who wouldn't give us a free venue this year?
Last year was the Radisson, who gave us a free venue, and this year, I believe we're going to the Standard.
Okay. And you talked about under athletics that we had to actually pay for some facilities for our, we don't have enough facilities to run?
No, most of our games were played at the UW Center with the Park District, so that's where a lot of the games were played during different scheduling times, and all of our facilities aren't always available, but that is who we use.
So is it because you want more than one team there? I mean, why wouldn't a team play in their own building? Because we have gyms now. We don't have cafeteriums or whatever.
Yes.
So we've invested in that.
Well, soccer, I mean, they have the soccer.
They play soccer in the gym?
No, I'm talking about, that's why we use the UW. That's why we collaborate with the Park District. But it's an elementary league, and so oftentimes the high schools either the facilities are in use or they don't have the capacity. And because we had so many more students, we needed the extra space.
And then my last question is, I see that the police contract is on here again under security services for the same amount as last year.
Yes, ma'am.
But we only were provided half the number of officers last year, so are they planning to fulfill that contract? I mean, if we're going to, should we have cut the contract in half?
Thank you. That's a great question. So we are working. As a matter of fact, I met with the chief of police today. We are working with them to come up with alternatives on how we can utilize the funds in that contract. And I think we have a plan moving forward. As opposed to officers, we're talking about mentors that they will provide in our schools to help with some of those issues. So
great. Does it get written into the contract as such? Is the contract already?
It's not
I don't
done
know when
yet.
it happens. I don't remember.
They've sent over a proposal, and we're just right now in the process of reviewing it. And I think Morgan's leading some of those efforts with our principals eventually. So we're in the work. We're negotiating what that will look like moving forward.
All righty. Thank you. Other questions? Nope. Thank you. There's a whole lot of places. We're now on to the consent portion of our meeting, which includes items previewed by the Board of Committee chairs during the Committee of the Whole meeting. This would be the following: payroll, accounts payable, purchase orders, air travel, monthly cash and investment report from February of 2023, the financial results from February of 2023, construction pay log, construction pay request log, ESSER RPS managed work change order, the following bids: exterior door replacement at Bloom Elementary School, the door replacement at East, Jefferson, Risa, and Conklin schools, the E-rate 2023 interactive. It also includes the meeting minutes from March 14th, 2022, contract purchase orders, and the Freedom of Information log. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent items?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any consent items board members wish to have pulled? Mr. Rollins.
5J.
Anyone else? I'll ask the coordinator to call the roll on all the items under 5 and 6 except 5J.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. I'll take a motion in a second for the door replacements at East Jefferson, Risa, and Conklin schools, IFB 2342.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Anybody have any? Mr. Rollins.
Well, you all know what my question's going to be.
Yeah.
There's only one bidder on this, and do we know why there was only one bidder?
I know Mr. Youngblood reached out to different firms. I did not get the answer, Mr. Rollins. The reason why we brought this forward, because we don't like just having one bidder also, is that the project did come in under our planned budget, so we felt comfortable bringing it forward. Some of it is that they're having to mobilize at several different locations for this project, and it may be 1 or 2 doors at each location, larger at East and at Conklin. But I really don't have a good answer. We're getting late in the bidding year for our general contractors, so we only have a few more projects coming forward, which are parking lots, but typically we try to get these out late fall, early winter to make sure we're getting, competitive bids. So I think some of it is contractors are getting full for their summer.
Okay, thanks.
Seeing no other lights, I'll ask the coordinator to call the roll on item 5J, IFB 2342 door replacements.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mrs. McCulloch?
Yes.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
We're now at the closed session consent agenda items, which include the following. The general counsel salary increase, the annual salary increase for the superintendent, Aaron Jarrett, the appointment of Crystal Bachman as a 10-month elementary assistant principal assigned to Constance Lane, the appointment of Jennifer Lawrence as a 12-month chief of student services assigned to the administration building, the appointment of Amy Gannon as a 12-month executive director of MTSS assigned to the administration building, HR organizational report and addendum, and the following student discipline. H0081X, the expulsion is held in abeyance contingent upon an expulsion and abeyance agreement for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0082X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0083X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0084X, the expulsion is held in abeyance contingent upon an expulsion, abeyance, and agreement for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the 23-24 school year, which can be converted to a zone school EIA upon the successful completion of the refresh program. H0085X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0086X, the expulsion is held in abeyance contingent upon an expulsion and abeyance agreement for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0088X, the expulsion is held in abeyance contingent upon an expulsion and abeyance agreement for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0089X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0090X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0091X, the expulsion is held in abeyance contingent upon an expulsion and abeyance agreement for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. H0092X is expelled for the remainder of the 22-23 school year through the entire 23-24 school year. It also includes the following EIAs: H0078, H0087, P0100, P0116, P0119, P0120, P0121, P0122, P0123, P0124, P0125, P0126, P0127, P0128, P0129, and P0130. Is there a motion and a second to approve the closed session consent items?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any closed session consent items board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Seeing no lights, I'll ask the coordinator to call the roll.
Ms. McCall,
Yes.
Mrs. McCulloch,
Yes.
Mr. Siegel,
Yes.
Ms. Haley,
Yes.
Ms. Stanford,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Abstain.
Mr. Rollins.
Yes.
The motion passes with 6 yeses, 1 abstain.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Jarrett, the floor is yours.
Yes, and I'm going to defer that immediately to our Superintendent Student Advisory Committee representative. The floor is yours.
All right, is this good? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Nizamuddin, and I'm a senior in the Gifted Academy at Auburn High School. I wanted to start off by thanking the school board members for allowing me the opportunity to sit in on these board meetings and listen to discussions regarding academic and financial school policies. It has been a highly informative and rewarding experience. As a student within the RPS 205 community, I am provided with a multitude of classes and pathways that I can partake in during my high school career. One specific pathway of classes I enjoyed being part of was PLTW, or Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is a program that allows students to engage hands-on and explore various career pathways from the comfort of their own classroom. My freshman year of high school, I took the PLTW Introduction to Engineering course. In this class, I learned about programming, engineering, and project design. Through this class, I was able to go from start to finish in 3D printing a puzzle and keychain. My sophomore year, I decided to explore another route of PLTW and was part of PLTW Principles of Biomedical Sciences. In my junior year, I took PLTW Medical Innovations. In these two classes, I was introduced to the medical field and the multitude of careers that are in the biomedical field. From dissecting sheep parts to taking blood pressure of my peers to exploring different bacteria to learning how to suture and perform stitches on artificial skin, the hands-on experiences allowed me to gain valuable skills and apply them to real-world scenarios. This type of learning environment greatly expanded my technical skills and provided me with a toolkit of skills to improve my problem solving. Through this program, my class was chosen to partner with OSF St. Anthony's Hospital Health Professions team to brainstorm incentives for promoting the COVID-19 vaccine in the greater Rockford community. Taking this course amidst an ongoing public health emergency/pandemic truly opened my eyes to how impactful my high school classes can be. Being part of PLTW allowed me to diversify my high school experience in comparison with my peers. It placed an emphasis on the importance of teamwork and collaboration, as well as provided me with practical knowledge and experience that can be applied to life outside of school. Looking back at the classes I took these past 4 years, I'm grateful for the PLTW program as it helped me determine potential career paths I might be interested in. Before my freshman year, I never considered being an engineer. However, after taking Intro to Engineering, I realized how much I enjoyed seeing my hard work come to life. These classes prepared me for college in a more practical way than any other classes I've taken at Auburn, and I believe resources like these should be better utilized by students. Through sitting in at these board meetings, I have realized how important college readiness is and how there should be an emphasis placed on gaining technical skills that can be used in all types of fields. I believe that investing in these types of programs, similar to the programs at IB schools, will help better prepare students to develop the critical thinking, teamwork, and analysis skills needed for success in whatever field they pursue. I'd like to thank you all for your time and for giving me the opportunity to participate in the school board meetings this past month. Thank you for giving me a voice Thank you for giving me a platform to voice my experiences at Auburn and within RPS 205. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Really appreciate you attending all 3 meetings and for your insight. Now I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Phillips to share his insights on our facilities master plan.
Good evening. I've returned tonight to continue our discussion of our facilities master plan, specifically where we're going. But before we move forward, I did want to take just a moment to talk about where we're at. So currently we have 44 buildings across the district, 2 stadiums, Swanson and Wyeth, have a total square foot of 4.9 million, 775 acres. Our average asset age is 50 years, and our 5-year average facilities condition index is 0.32 or fair. So as we look at creating a new plan, we would need to start this process by advertising a request for qualifications for a planning consultant and a demographer. As a board, we have a couple options to consider when we advertise that RFQ. We could do a turnkey operation where we write an RFQ where we're asking for the planning consultant to really lead all activities, all the planning activities, whether it's internal listening sessions or external listening sessions, taking all of our information, facilities condition assessment, our security audit that we just completed, as well as our building utilization analysis, and bringing people together to establish a plan. Our second option is more of a hybrid option where RPS staff and the consultants work together. We could see the internal staff running our internal stakeholder listening sessions. Obviously, we'd still want our planning consultant to be a part of that to hear what's going on, but really have our outside planner take control of our community listening sessions and lead those efforts. Just looking at costs over time, we feel option 1, we'd probably be in the $250,000 range, and in the hybrid range where we're taking on a lot of the responsibilities or sharing the responsibilities, we feel that we could be in the $100,000 range with a planning consultant. We also need to create a facilities task force, and that task force should be include a number of folks within our community, board members, community leaders, RPS administrators, staff, and students. And really the objective of the facilities task force is to make sure we're acquiring good data, setting clear objectives for our consultants, identifying our priorities, developing alternative solutions, and in the end, really creating a workable plan that we can make sure we're successful. The resources we'll use to develop this plan, we already have some of that completed. Our facilities condition assessment, our building utilization analysis, and most recently our physical security and vulnerability audit, which the board will be hearing about shortly. We'll also need to consider our curriculum and instructional needs across the district, host internal listening sessions with our staff and teachers and administrators, as well as community listening sessions to hear what our community thinks we need or what we're lacking in our schools from a facilities perspective. The funding sources that we've identified at this time were ranging between $160 million and $190 million over a 5-year plan. 30 to 40 million would be coming from our corporate personal property replacement tax, a reserve pledge of 80 to 100 million, and then 50 million in general obligation bonds. We have the capacity right now to use 50 million without having to go out for referendum, and we have a couple of different ways we will look at possibly doing that. Dr. Brown can go in more detail if there's questions with that. But I did want to remind board members that during our last facilities master plan, we did a $50 million reserve pledge. So we definitely have the dollars within our reserves to pledge these amounts that are listed. Timeline, April of 23 through May 23, we'd like to advertise a request for qualifications. May 23 through May 24, a year of really planning and putting a new master plan together. And May 24, we would kick off, through October 24, we'd kick off design for our first level priorities that the board has established. In October 24 through February, we would be bidding those projects with our goal of June of 2025, kicking off our first year of construction projects that we've identified as our highest priorities. Lastly, we really need to make sure we're communicating clearly with our internal and external stakeholders. As I talked about, we'll be holding internal and external community listening sessions. We want to make sure that we're updating folks throughout the plan development, updating our teams with the board approved plan, and in the end, as we approve a plan, that we have a website dashboard with project updates throughout and budget updates throughout the process. So I think in the end, what we're asking the board here is to provide us some guidance on an advertisement for a request for qualifications. We did talk about two options, a turnkey option and more of a hybrid approach. We would recommend moving forward with a hybrid approach. In most cases, we have already done the work and understand the information from a facilities condition assessment and building utilization, so we can provide that information and share that information to build the plan, but really wanted to get the board's input on how you see best moving forward with a request for qualifications.
I would lean towards the hybrid approach, but when you're looking at the option one with a consultant, what would be the pros and cons there?
So, I think we're going to be involved regardless, and we're going to be providing information. So I think in some ways we're paying more money for something we're heavily involved with anyway. Some of the pros, having an outside consultant lead, I think there's a trust, having a professional lead some of those informational sessions. But I think the con is the fact that we're going to be paying for something we're already providing in information that we've done already.
Thank you.
Obviously, take my opinion with a grain of salt. It's only going to last for another 30 days. I'll never wake up in a good mood again, man. But I do think there is a lot of value in having engagement from the board. I think it's going to be more inviting to community members, getting them involved. And I certainly hope that the new board that's seated when this gets going has the enthusiasm for meeting with the community and getting their input and getting them involved. I just feel like that it's probably going to make the whole conversation a lot more approachable if we are involved.
I've just got the same exact comments, and beyond that, I'm just not a big fan of turning everything over to the outside expert. I think that, the people who are going to be living with this need to be involved in it. I had a question on the general obligation bonds. Are they going to replace bonds that are falling off, or are these going to be new bonds? Because, obviously, if they're new bonds, that's going to increase the real estate tax rate because they'll have to be paid off.
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways we could do it. We could actually replace existing bonds as they roll off, and then that would keep the tax rate, steady. We could issue debt service extension base and then put it on the end of the schedule rather than, putting it with bonds that are currently maturing. We could actually look at refunding portions of other bonds that are currently outstanding. That option's kind of off the table right now with interest rates being so high, but that's something we could look at doing too. If interest rates do go lower, we might be able to refinance some of it without impacting the tax rate, and then be able to actually take some equity out of those bonds and still keep the tax rate flat. So that would be kind of the last piece we would look at layering in. We'd use cash on hand first, and probably wouldn't look at even having to issue any debt until probably 2008 or 2009. So we'd have plenty of time to maybe even stockpile some additional cash.
You did the same thing I do all the time. You drop 20 years.
So.
Okay, so when we did the last facilities plan, we had the opportunity, because we had a lot of bonds falling off, that we were able to do it without raising the tax rate. So I guess that would just be, and I'm in the same position as David, so this, I mean, I'm not going to be voting on this, but, you know, for what it's worth, I would be super unexcited about issuing new bonds that are actually going to increase the tax rate.
Yeah.
But if we have the opportunity, if we've got bonds falling off, people are more accepting of, I think, of that, of understanding that we're not raising their taxes, that we're just replacing bonds that are actually falling off and having been paid off.
Yeah, we've actually worked with Ann Noble a little bit to kind of see what it might look like in the out years to make sure we weren't increasing the tax rate.
All right, thanks.
All right. Alec Hybrid. Thank you. Do you have anything else, Dr. Jarrett? Okay.
I do not. That concludes my report.
Opportunity for board member comments. Ms. McCall.
I just want to say that over this past week, I was able to chaperone a college tour by the Wabongo Leadership Council as a parent chaperone during the Rockford Public Schools District 205 spring break. And I just wanted to say, I've been chaperoning college tours since 2004 or 5. And every year it just gets better and better. And I just really appreciate how our students represented the district out in Alabama. Everywhere we went, every school we went to, every college we visited, every restaurant, just complimented the students on, just being very bright. They asked very intelligent questions. I've invited some of them to come in the coming weeks to come and speak on their experience. And I just wanted to, I guess, just aside from complimenting the students, give a kudos to the parents and to the school district for allowing partnering with the Wabongo Leadership Council. It was kind of a bittersweet thing because I am not a part of that board anymore, and just to be a regular parent and not really knowing what's being in charge of what's going on, it felt a little weird, but it's still everything still was great, and I would like to, just challenge the board to take advantage of some of these opportunities to engage with the students as much as you can, because, of course they're going to say they want, different lunch. That'll be the first thing they say. But, just giving them a genuine ear, let them know that their voice counts and their voice matters. It means a lot. As some of the students who are here today, a lot of them, spoke to me and remembered me from that experience, and it goes a long way. So just letting the students know that, we're people, we're approachable, and we're also your advocates. So I just wanted to talk about that. Thank you.
David.
I wanted to start off by thanking everybody who came tonight, those to speak, those to be recognized, and those to participate and support those who are here. Also, especially want to thank our Superintendent Advisory Council student for coming, and 3 meetings in a row, and that first one was a marathon too, so really appreciate you enduring and then staying here and sharing your thoughts. We really do appreciate the student perspective. We have had so many impressive students this year, from our academic walks to our our Brainiacs section, whether it's chess or Quiz Bowl or our really impressive student athletes. So this really has been a year where we've had a chance to celebrate some really, really impressive young people. So I'm appreciative that everybody came and celebrated.
Ms. Pearson?
Thank you. First of all, I will never stop asking for parental and community engagement. So, but when I look out and I see a parent, it excites me, to know that parents are connected and they're paying attention. And I will never stop having that expectation, because I know that our parents are very concerned about their children's education. There's barriers and things, scheduling, and so many things that play a factor in their ability to be here. So it's really encouraging to see representation from our parents. Also, I like to acknowledge when I see good things happening in our community. And I had an opportunity, it was brought to my attention, actually, reminded rather, of the work that Dr. Cyrus Oates is doing in our schools. And so, of course, I had to read the story for myself, and it is absolutely impressive and encouraging to see community members step up despite their profession, with removing bias and just reaching out to help our students and showing up. And I really appreciate Dr. Oates for the sacrifice that he's made for our students. Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't know about the rest of you, but those of us who served with Ken, this was his favorite time in the spring, when we would acknowledge all the athletes and the brainiacs and the like, and so it really brought him to mind. We did not have a superintendent update to review because it was spring break last week, so we can skip through that. Any board member action steps? I don't think there were any requests made for additional information. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Good night. We are adjourned at 8:07 p.m.